Just made some cauliflower wings. These taste amazing. I got a bit of the barbecue sauce right here. Mmm, they're really nice and crispy. I got this recipe through Potato Strong. You should definitely check it out. And now I'm gonna make some nut butter. This is the best thing in the entire world. It's pecans and almonds mixed together. If you got a Vitamix or a good blender, you should definitely try this out. And this is the finished product, nice and runny. This tastes friggin' amazing, and I'm gonna have this with dates. And these are the best dates, I swear, in the entire world. They're Israeli medjool dates. They're so big and sweet and juicy. And I think I'm gonna have some pumpkin seed butter along with this. It's not something I have every day, because, you know, it's really high in fat, but, you know, once or twice a week is a treat. And I'm about to eat my dates and nut butters at my desk. And like I said, it's not something I eat every single day because it is high in fat, and you could get some unnecessary weight gain from eating this too often. But it's a really, really healthy treat. I eat this maybe once or twice a week.
Okay, so we have a really simple recipe today. We're just going to be making pasta. All you have to really do is bring water to a boil, and then your pasta's done. So first step, just fill up a pot with water and set that on the stove. And while we're waiting for the water to boil, get a can of chickpeas, pour some of the juice onto a pan, and add in about 3 to 4 cups of chopped kale, and stir that around on high for about 3-4 minutes, or until the kale is a bit wilted. Then add in the rest of the chickpeas, drained, and stir that around for another 3-4 minutes, and then add your favorite tomato sauce. It can be store-bought, doesn't really matter. And this is an optional step, really. You can just add in the plain tomato sauce to your pasta after it's cooked. I just want to make sure you guys eat your green vegetables. It's super important, so it really doesn't matter what form you have these, just have these. You can have your kale in a big salad if you like, you can have it with a smoothie, but just make sure you have your green vegetables with dinner. Once the water's reached a boil, just add the pasta in and cook until it's al dente, which takes about 6 to 8 minutes, and then just drain and serve. And that's a very simple vegan dinner. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe, and if you haven't already, you should check out my How To Vegan Breakfast and How To Vegan Lunch videos. And don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe, and keep making those vegan gains.
God damn it.
Okay, to make this chocolate milkshake, you're going to need 2 cups of your favorite non-dairy milk. Right here I'm using soy milk. And for some extra sweetness, I added in 5 medjool dates. You can add in more or less depending on how sweet you want this to be. To make this a chocolate milkshake, add in either 2 tablespoons of carob or cocoa powder. Next, add in about 3 or 4 frozen bananas, and you can add in more or less depending on how thick you want your milkshake to be. Now, just pulse a few times and blend on high for about a minute. And that's a healthy vegan chocolate milkshake. I hope you all try out this recipe because it tastes good. And I hope you all keep making those vegan gains. Before we begin, I found this recipe on onegreenplanet.org and I just had to share this recipe with you guys. And if you want a full list of written instructions, then check out the link in the description. First off, you're going to roughly chop 3.5 cups of cauliflower and then steam that for 10 minutes. And while that's going on, chop up 4 cups of broccoli and green beans, and you can decide how much of each you want. Once your cauliflower is done cooking, take it out of the steamer and put your green vegetables in, and these should take about 5 to 10 minutes to cook, and around this time you want to start boiling water for your pasta. And while our greens are cooking, we're going to start making the sauce, and you start off by pouring your cauliflower into a blender along with 3 ounces of tofu, 6 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, a pinch of thyme, a pinch of turmeric, 2 cloves of garlic, half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, the juice of half a lemon, and lastly, 1 cup of soy milk, and blend this until smooth. And once your broccoli is done cooking, take it out of the steamer, and now you want to start boiling your pasta. Now, if you look on the website, the recipe calls for 1 cup of pasta, but I need a hell of a lot more food than that, so I put in almost the entire bag. And once your pasta is done cooking, drain it and combine all ingredients into an oven-proof dish. And you can crush and sprinkle on some toast as a topping, and once that's all done, plop it in the oven at 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. And this is the finished product, and yes, this tastes as good as it looks. It's really good. Definitely try this. And keep making those vegan gains. Okay, first step in making your own nut butter is to set your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I like to use 2 bags of pecans and 1 bag of almonds, but you can use any combination of nuts you like, and just spread those out onto a pan, and make sure you spread them out evenly so that when you put them in the oven they cook evenly. Now just throw them into the oven, and it will take about 10 to 15 minutes for them to cook, maybe more depending on your oven and how many nuts you're using, but that's generally how long it takes. And halfway through you want to mix the nuts around again just to make sure they're cooking evenly, but check the nuts every, 3, 4, 5 minutes just to make sure they're not overcooking and getting burnt. Now, after about 15 minutes, take them out of the oven and let them cool down. You want them cool enough so that you can handle them with your hands without burning yourself. And you can tell that they're done when they're just slightly browned, and they should have a slightly smoky flavor. And once the nuts are cool enough to handle, transfer to a blender or food processor and start by blending on low and working your way up to high, and then just keep blending on high until everything becomes smooth. And that's how you make your own nut butter, and I really recommend trying out that almond pecan butter that I made. It's my favorite nut butter ever. It just tastes amazing, and it's just liquid gold. And it goes really well with dates, but you can use any combination of nuts you like, you know, experiment, try things out, but always make those vegan gains.